What's happening, guys? Hope we're well. As you can see, the setup is usually professional as ever. But shout out to my man, FPL Captain. He's managed to produce a nice little graphic for our Game Week 31 deadline. Idea of this, those of you familiar with my usual Friday Ask James streams, which are going to be on a Thursday most likely going forward, is essentially anything that goes in the chat I will cover and answer. Now, I don't know how busy this is or isn't going to be, so apologies in advance if I can't get to your questions. If they're repetitive, I will try and move on and give very quick answers. We are currently 57 minutes until the Game Week 31 deadline. My team is locked in. My job from here on in is to try and help you with yours if I can. So, let's get into the questions. Nothing's off limits, but this one should really be generally strictly FPL in some sort of related way. And look, if you enjoy this today, we'll come again 10:30 a.m. UK time on Saturday. But the vibe of this should be very, very relaxed. So, let's see what's going on. So, Auto Recluse is in. Hello, mate. This is best Barnes replacement if I need to knee-jerk last minute if I get news he's out later. And quite simply, I think it's probably Damari Gray, mate, at 5.0. Would seem like a very reasonable way around any issues that we might hear of Harvey Barnes. I can say Rockstar tweeted earlier and said that he wouldn't have team news this evening. So how much you trust any sources that are going to be out there is up to you. If I hear of anything the next hour, I will share that information. But it's up to you to manage your own teams and trust the information however you see fit. There will be, again, like there was last week, people in the next 55 minutes or so who I'm sure will try and cause some issues. But I think, yeah, if there was to be news that Harvey Barnes is not playing for Leicester, particularly if you're on the wild card, just make sure you've got the money in the bank for an escape, mate. And I would go for Damari Gray. Alex Turner's in. Bilal, they're both in. Say hello. Singer 97. Why did you sell Mahrez? Well, Mahrez started the two games, so I mean he obviously did great for me in game week 30, but therefore I don't think he'll start against Chelsea. Then you've got the Newcastle game in the Cup. Does he play in that? Then miss Liverpool. Now they're two big games that I don't particularly want him for anyway. If you could say to me now, Riyad Mahrez will definitely start at Chelsea and start 75% of the games that Man City have got left, then I would have kept hold of him. I don't think he starts again. I think you're probably looking at Sterling and Bernardo in those wide positions at Chelsea. That would be my best guess. Mahrez could play again, but it's going to catch up with you eventually. I'm quite happy to have KDB, knowing he'll play the majority and covers me, and when I feel it's safe to do so, I'll captain him on certain game weeks. Red Rose FPL's in. Hello, mate. Lewis Whitson, Salah, Fernandes, Rashford or TAA captain. Most indecisive I've ever been about the armband. I'm going Bruno Fernandes. As I said on podcast yesterday, he wouldn't have been on my radar to what I saw Friday night. I was so impressed with him. The feeling I had as a Spurs fan going up against him was like, shit, this guy is better than I thought he was. He'll shoot from anywhere. Sheffield United have got a replacement goalkeeper playing today. We don't know the information. Tomorrow. We don't know the news yet on O'Connell. Egan is obviously suspended. It's going to be a miss. I think there's a very rare case here where it's take an advantage of a team that's got issues. Now, those issues I don't think for Sheffield United will last very long. But I think Manchester United can certainly expose them tomorrow. Also, Palace is always awkward. Liverpool tend to do quite well against them in terms of goals scored, so I wouldn't be put off by Mane, Salah. I was certainly thinking towards before the weekend that I'd definitely be going with one of them. Salah's fitness, I think, adds to the issue a little bit. I'm 98% sure Mane will start, but couldn't be much more confident than that. Salah, 85% confident that he'll play. Bruno Fernandes, 100%, but also think he can outscore them. Bruno's now points per match in FPL is outscoring Mane and Salah. So I like it. And I'll tell you what is good about FPL this week is it really looks like there's going to be quite a wide split in terms of captaincy. You've got Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin in it against Norwich are really interesting alternatives. Obviously the City guys anytime he plays. Same for Liverpool. There's alternatives at United to Bruno, Martial, Rashford. I've seen a couple even mentioned. Pogba. Wolves, Jimenez, Doherty at home to Bournemouth. I mean, it's not completely unreasonable. Wolves have been outstanding defensively since Bolly came back, and Doherty's been really doing bits in the 4 or 5 games since. So, and he's probably got more capability of the double point score, ironically, than Jimenez. So I wouldn't hate it. Yeah, there's so many choices. Kane, Son, if you feel that way. Fernandes for me though. Heavy Finger 7. Hey James, would you talk me out of Captain Kane? Head's gone or. No, I won't talk you out of it, mate. A little bit like what I said. There's going to be a real mix this week in terms of captaincy, and if that's what you feel, great. Personally, wouldn't be on my radar. I think if he was in my team, I'd do it because then I can't really justify why I've got him otherwise. And I think for yourself, mate, there might be a little bit of personal fan bias in that decision. It is a derby. West Ham are desperate. They're going to want to keep it tight. Whether they're capable or not is a different matter altogether. But for me, no. FPL Cobbler, great result for Northampton last night at Cheltenham in the playoffs. Well done, mate. Nick Griffith saying hello. Ian McAllister. Red Rose FPL, yeah, for those joining late, my man, FPL Captain. For those new, that's with a K, FPL Captain. He's the man on the graphics. Give him a follow. What a star. He's helped me out just putting something up very short notice. And if we do this again Saturday morning, we might have some more stuff to bring for you. Cole JB says, -8 incoming for me. Need to decide between David De Gea and Ben Foster, and also between Marcus Rashford and Jesus. I think I'm there, but would love to hear yours and your fellow chat room friends' thoughts. So in the chat, obviously give at Cole JB a tag if you want to respond to his particular comment. So between David De Gea and Foster, and also between Rashford and Jesus. I mean, if it's just a straight choice, money, no problem between De Gea and Foster. There's only about 0.4 between them. Then definitely De Gea. I think United well capable of keeping clean sheet. If you've got no defensive United coverage there, I quite like that. And I would go Rashford over Jesus personally. Jesus potentially playing Chelsea and Liverpool if he gets the starts, while Rashford playing a weakened Sheffield United and Brighton. I would want to take advantage in the first instance, leave the money in the bank potentially so you can make the move freely. Although obviously if you can roll in 32, then you can make that move freely in game week 33 if you want to. Although by that point Manchester United play Bournemouth and then they've got Aston Villa in 34, Southampton in 35. You probably wouldn't move actually. So Rashford would be the choice for me. FPO Andy saying afternoon. Andre Sousa, which one is better? Salah captain and Martial and Fernandes, or Mane and Rashford with Fernandes captain? I have a personal preference for Mane over Salah. I can't give anybody a great reason why. I just don't enjoy owning Mohamed Salah as an FPL manager. It's just a personal opinion. It's not to put anybody off. That's just something in me personally. Martial annoys me. So I like the idea. I mean, Bruno Fernandes would be my top choice for captaincy. So to go with Mane and Rashford as the two on the side, that sounds great. Clean sheet wipeout. Our friends, Southampton fans in the chat. Hello, mate. Liam H, what do you think will be the highest scoring game this week? Ooh. Good question. That is a good question. I suspect it might be Chelsea and Manchester City, actually. Would possibly be my shout on that. But then, good luck guessing where those returns are going to come from. Jeff Holt saying hello. Hello, Jeff. Hope you're well. Alex Turner got bench dilemma between Saka and Grealish. Currently starting Grealish. I think that's the right choice. Go with Grealish. Elite FPL Steve-O from Elite FPL. Hello, mate. Says, I respect your opinion a lot and essentially want to know if it'd be better on wildcard to go with Ings or Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which in turn would be me having Doherty over Bolly if I go DCL. It's tough. Well, I'm going Ings and DCL, which I think you know that, Steve-O. Wow. I mean, the advantages are over Doherty over Bolly, massive. What I would say is Everton have got a great fixture today. Leicester, Tottenham, Southampton, Wolves the following 4. Not as great in my opinion as the immediate of Arsenal, Watford for Southampton, but then they walk into Manchester City in game week 33. So part of my thinking at the moment is, can I move when I've already talked about this? City the other side of Liverpool. Can I roll through in 32 to get Ings to Jesus and downgrade somewhere else? That's part of my thinking currently as far ahead as game week 33. So it probably depends, Steve-O. Do you want to leave someone in there, or are you looking for the quick, powerful fix? I think the most powerful quick fix is probably Danny Ings, but Calvert-Lewin might be the better hold for the rest of the season, if that helps, mate. Bilal Kreshy says, Vardy an option on wildcard till the end of the season? Question. I listened to Clash of the Correspondents. Interesting thoughts, yeah. So we released that earlier today with Aaron Lager and FPL Seagull, our respective Leicester and Brighton correspondents. And at 5 o'clock when I switch off, if you haven't listened to it, that's probably what you should do with your lives. It's on YouTube as well. You can watch the video of the three of us with Suj, which was recorded yesterday afternoon. And Aaron and Sam, who's FPL Seagull, they both have amazing ranks. They're both inside the top 60,000. And they're both free hitting this week. And they both are putting Vardy in their team. So, yes. I just want to go with a structure personally where I'm going a little bit cheaper up front. So, someone sent me a message there that really off-put me. Fuck off. Oh, for the new people, yeah, I swear a bit. Sorry about that. So you might want to take your kids out of them. Vardy's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I don't see anywhere along the path for him where I'd captain him. That would be something I would just put to the back of your mind. But he's not a value where you have to be captaining him. He's obviously ahead for the Golden Boot at the moment. I can't put you off. If your team structure works with Jamie Vardy, absolutely fine. I would also say that in terms of fixtures left, this one today is probably his best. So I would just think about that a bit again and think I'm okay with that. So I think for free hitters, great shout this week, Jamie Vardy. Why would I put you off? Phil says, afternoon all. Hello Phil, FPL Cobbler finalising free hit team in the next hour. Just a quick check on Ori and Son and whether you think they'll start. Yes, 99% on that, mate. Phil Sheridan, do I go Aubameyang to Rashford now or hold off to see if Aubameyang improves? I have a fear, Phil, coming from an Arsenal correspondent at 35 Who that thinks, and we probably won't know till the Sheffield United Cup game's gone at the weekend, every chance that Aubameyang won't play against Norwich, and that's the hold, is to captain him against Norwich when Man City and Liverpool play each other. And that's part why Aubameyang has come out for myself. Do I think he'll score at Southampton on Thursday? Yeah, probably. Do I think he could score in half hour against Norwich? Obviously. But it's probably not the news you want to hear. What can you do with the rest of the money as well, Phil? The advice would be probably come off, and you're certainly going to want to come off after Norwich either way, I think. Vidic Shah says, does playing free hit over wildcard make sense? I've used all my chips other than these two. That's so difficult to answer, Vidic. It's going to be completely circumstantial on your team. Please don't post your whole team in the chat. If you're really unhappy with your team now, but you think you might be walking into something better in 32, then I like free hit now. Play through 32 wildcard a little bit later if you can hold on to it. Everybody's personal circumstance on these chips now is going to be completely different. Until these games in game week 30, I was convinced I was going to play through this week and not wildcard until game week 33. I watched the games. I made my assessment, I changed my mind and realised I'd be at a huge disadvantage this week, and I had to move for Bruno Fernandes instantly, which I could do in one transfer for Mahrez, not a problem. But then I've allowed myself power in other areas by reorganising my team. I didn't think prior to the weekend I was going to have such negative thoughts towards Sheffield United, for example. And they'll come back strong. They're still a very good side defensively, but I certainly didn't want to be sitting there with treble of them. Durkle08, you approve of starting Doucouré over Harvey Barnes? I don't if we get a Leicester team news and Harvey Barnes is in it. But don't mind it. Don't mind it. I really like the position that Doucouré's playing in for Watford. I think he's quite an underrated FPL talent. So yeah, I don't mind that as a shout if that's your personal preference. Clean Sheet Wipeout says, wise to leave some solid cash in the bank to move on from the likes of Ings, Richarlison next couple of weeks. Leaving 1.1 in the bank at the moment. Like that, I'm leaving 1.4 at the moment. FPL Potter says, do we think Martial stays up top? Going to captain him, I think. Can't see why he wouldn't, Jamie. Notorious Nerd, Serge Aurier or Richie or Justin or Saiz. Pick one. Saiz. Peter Brown, worth using the -4 to take Grealish out for Son. – . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . No. No, I don't think it's worth the hit necessarily, actually. If it's a straight transfer, obvious. I think maybe no, Peter, would be my instinct on that. Now, don't go over the top on Newcastle just because of what you might have seen against Sheffield United at the weekend. They're not the best side, right? Bilal says he's going Martial, Captain Phil, Steve-O, Doherty and DCL. That's Phil's responding to Steve-O's comment earlier. We'll try and skip those responsive comments and catch up a bit here. Jack Bullon, thoughts on Ings captain? I don't hate it. If you think he's going to be your top scoring player this week, Jack, go for it. I mean, it wouldn't be my personal preference. It's not. Danny Ings is in my squad. It's not something I've considered for a second, personally. Ashem, thoughts on a Richarlison captaincy shout over Fernandes, Rashford if you need to make up spaces? Again, don't hate it, Ash. I think this is a really good week to spread and gamble a little bit on captaincy if that's what you want to do. Mikey2908, Captain DCL or AM? Is it silly? Fuck's AM. Anthony Martial, I presume, isn't it? No, nothing's silly. Listen, you'll learn this with myself, right? If you ask me something silly, I'm always going to say no, it's not silly, because you're entitled to have your own opinions and your own thoughts. Aaron's in, hey mate, if you keep KDB on a free hit, yeah, I can't see why KDB wouldn't play, and he's powerful in any game, right? Some of his bigger returns historically have been against sides like Chelsea and Arsenal, so yeah, I'd keep him in as a good little bit of coverage there, I think, Aaron. Perlo's pen, start Aurier or Maguire. Maguire all day long, says thinks it's Maguire. Aurier, nice little sub for me, like Maguire all day long. Nick Griffith, best player to move from Mara's question. Richarlison is currently in first position, but St. Maximin is rearing his head as a very nice differential here, and Richarlison is expected to play only 60 minutes. That's guesswork, isn't it, Nick? It's complete guesswork. So, in terms of the time that he'll play. He might even be sub. I don't think he'll be sub. I'd go Richarlison. It's the capability of what could be. But yeah, Newcastle have 3 good fixtures, right? Villa, Bournemouth, West Ham. If you're going to do it, we've released an article. If you want to check that out now rather than listen to me, our Newcastle correspondent, FPL Football, you can look through my Twitter timeline at Planet FPL Pod. If you want to have a little read up on Newcastle, or even while you're listening to this, that our correspondent Si has written. And he is saying, yeah, if you want to go Newcastle, it's now, it's today, or don't do it at all. So, I mean, St. Maximin and Richie are the 2 that he mentions most. Don't mind it as a differential, mate. England 23 says, torn between Son and Bruno captain. Use your foresight and help me, James. Bruno Fernandes, mate. Thank you, Phil, for your comment on my score this week. Yeah, it'll never happen again, mate. Matthew Clark, hello, mate. Is Aurier worth a punt? Cresswell still having nightmares, I reckon. Let me sum it up for everybody who's getting questions in and waiting in now. I am not going to recommend Serge Aurier to you. Absolutely not. 4 clean sheets for Tottenham this year. Is he capable of attacking returns? Does the varying conditions and the temperature, etc., add to the possibility of Tottenham keeping clean sheets? Yes, it does. It might also diminish his attacking potential, by the way, as well, in terms of how much work he has to get through as the offensive fullback in that system that Mourinho likes, where the left-back, Ben Davies, essentially, is not allowed to cross the halfway line. But there is huge responsibility on Aurier on the other side to get as far forward as possible in possession and then get straight back into a flat-back 4 without the ball. That's going to be tough in these conditions as well. I cannot recommend him. Is he capable of getting a double pointer this game week? Yeah, he absolutely is, but know the risks. I won't say to you, go and get Serge Aurier. Won't happen. Steve-O saying, basically, Doherty and DCL are Ings and Bolly. Cheers, dude. Listening while walking and tanning. You are a strange one, but we love you, mate. Lamichi Okamoto. Have both Mane and Salah in my team. Thoughts on taking Salah out for Son on a free transfer? No, I'd rather be looking to roll, I think. Put you in a stronger position to decide what you want to do with them Liverpool guys when they're walking into City next week. If Salah starts, he's a better option this week than Son. Let's be really obvious about that. Bilal says, what is better on wildcard, Dubravka, Saiss and Guendouzi or Patricio, Lascelles and Hayden? Would have to bench latter 2 in either combination. Currently benching Aurier and Lascelles in my team. You're never going to start Guendouzi. Just a note that he could be in for a ban, although we haven't heard anything as yet, or certainly I haven't. Lascelles and Hayden are really, really good budget options to leave on the bench And Lascelles is someone you could well be tempted to play in the next few weeks if you've got issues. So, oddly enough, I'd probably favour that one. I'd probably just about favour the Patricio and Lascelles one. Not a lot in it though, to be honest, Bilal. As a real tour, awesome this deadline stream. Thank you very much. What do you think about Ali as an option going forward? Rotation risk question. Congrats on your bench boost, by the way. Thank you. Hello, FPL Toro. I'm not big on Dele either, right? You've got nothing to see on the visual in terms of how fit he is or isn't. Coming back from injuries over the last couple of years, he certainly hasn't hit the ground running. My advice would be no. Wait, assess, see how you feel. It might be something you want to revisit around about game week 34. If you want to go for Son, the only person I'm going to say as a recommendation is Son, and that's the guy that I've gone with. Megazozo 82. To get Fernandes in and Grealish out, I need to take a -4. Is it worth the risk this week, or can it wait until next week? I already have Rashford and don't want to wildcard or free hit this week. Go for it. I think that's a different one to Son because of my frustrations with Spurs. If you're new, I'm a Spurs fan. I get frustrated by them quite a lot. I think United could really, really do well tomorrow. And Spurs capable of it tonight, but I see the game. I see Spurs winning tonight, but I see it being sort of a 2-1 or something. I think United could be looking at sort of a 3-0 tomorrow night. That's how I feel. I would, yes, for Fernandes, I would take a hit this week. But it might be personal opinion that is affecting my judgment on that, so bear that in mind. FPL Andy, do you think Vardy's a viable captain option? Yep. Don't have a problem with that if that's your preference. Joe Finney Batter, thoughts on Bolly to Doherty? Have enough in the bank to do it. It's a luxury transfer. If you can afford a luxury transfer, go for it, Joe. Christopher Curry, would you consider captaining Son against West Ham? No, I wouldn't. Brought him in along with Rashford on a -4 and always like captaining to make the most of it. Salah Sellers making me feel better about not captaining. I wouldn't know, but then there's others who people mention. I'm saying I don't have an issue with it and I wouldn't want to do it. Son is one of them. I can't see me ever feeling comfortable enough, although I've got him in now, to captain Son between now and the end of the season because of the lack of faith in Spurs, unless I begin to see different things. Elite FPL, just kind of catching up with something I said earlier. So I think Klopp said Salah's fine and virtually said starting, he's captaining. Okay, that's fair enough. John Jacobson, what's better for United? Rashford up top and Martial on the left, or vice versa? As it is, really, because Martial will sulk up front or on the left, but he's capable in and around the box. I think Rashford needs to feel the ball more now, and I do think being out wide suits him. Dread FPL saying hello mate. FPL telling, well done for the score, James. Thank you very much. I'll try and skip them ones. Vidit says, does playing free hit over wildcard make sense? I've covered something similar to that a little while ago. Grapple Spotlight. Wish I could bench boost this week. Got Saiz, Lascelles, Maguire, Trent and Ori at the back. Would happily play them all. Connor Porter is Bergwijn being underrated. Dropped 0.1 the past week. Yes, possibly, but as I covered on the podcast yesterday, my main concern with him is you've now got Lucas back available tonight. Dele Alli back available. Lo Celso wasn't fully fit in the week, and Dombele presumably will be 5 days better fit. Spurs have mass depth. If Spurs go with a front three of Son, Kane, Bergwijn, let me ask you, which one's coming off the pitch first? It's Bergwijn. Which one of those three is also least likely to start? It's Bergwijn. He's very capable at the price, but again, it's one where you have to know the risk. I think the little bit extra for the power of Sonny would be worth it personally. Tom Hyom says, afternoon James, do you think Rashford's price is overinflated assuming Bruno takes all the pens? No, because I think Marcus Rashford will be a higher price next season. Maninda says, you don't have to try pronouncing my name. Oh, well, I did. What do you think of Jesus now? Aguero is injured. Easy move to Rashford if it doesn't work. Front line would be Jimenez, Jesus, yeah. We're certainly going to have a very close look at Jesus over the next two, but no rush to get him in. Plus, I didn't own Aguero, so I didn't have that structure to be looking that way either. Notorious Nerd, thoughts on how Spurs will approach the game tonight? Fucking attacking, I hope, Notorious. That's what I hope for. I hope with a higher tempo. It's an evening kick-off. Temperature shouldn't be too high. It's about to get ridiculous in the next few days, but it shouldn't be too bad this evening. I expect Spurs to go for it. And I don't want Spurs to sit off at 1-0. I want them to keep going for it and punish these bastards. Mr. Bondi 30i, who would you choose between Traore and Holgate or Baldock and Saka? Traore and Holgate. That seems like a very, very straightforward one. Dread FPL, what do you think of Doherty cap? I mentioned it as a possibility. Don't hate it. Wouldn't be for me, but I don't hate it. Edwin Grand, Martial, Bruno and Maguire, too many. No, a treble up on United if you've got enough faith in it is okay. The only treble up I have at the moment is on Wolves. That's Doherty, Traore and Jimenez. I do have Maguire and Fernandes as well. But yeah, I don't mind the United treble up if people want to go that way. Niz Godfrey, hope this queue reaches before the deadline. Would you go Holgate or Lascelles in for target? Lascelles for me. Good short-term fixtures with Newcastle. And I think with Newcastle's fixtures, like they've still got to play Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, and they're probably quite easy to leave out. The other games, you're going to want to play him in a few. You never really know what you're going to get with Everton. I'd have more faith in Newcastle clean sheets than Everton, and neither are particularly goal threats, massively. Both capable, Lascelles and Holgate, but you don't necessarily really associate them with attacking returns. So I would preference Lascelles, personally. Rhinos Leeds, start one of Kiko, Alonso, Lundstrom. Okay, is that Kiko Femenia at Watford? I'd go that, actually, at Burnley. Yeah. I'm leaving Alonso out this week. I've got him in wildcard ready to go for next week, because I know I want him for that West Ham fixture. England 23, I enjoy Mane more than Salah because Mane is there for TAA, whips in balls, and Salah usually relies on moments of brilliance. Vidic, Shah, best midfielder under 7.5, thinking Barnes or Grealish. Oof. It's a bit of a wasteland, isn't it? I went to get rid of Grealish on what I saw of the two Villa games. If Harvey Barnes is fit, I don't mind that as a shout, Vidic. Lee J. Fraser, would you consider Moura or Dele as differential for the next two Spurs games? Both could bonus well in the next cut. Spurs, not for me. I'm gonna just kind of go over all the Spurs questions because the only Spurs player I will recommend is Son. Jay Barker saying, who do I start at? Grealish and Sarr. Oh, that's tough. Find someone else to drop. Probably Grealish on that one because he's capable, isn't he, as the talisman. As much as I just advised against him being the best pick at 7.5, I think just Grealish, but I would rather, over the longer period here, I'd rather have Sarr in my squad than Grealish. I would say that. Sorry, Matthew Hobbs. My friend Niz Godfrey is recommending that if you're enjoying this stream to give the video a little like. More likes, more chance of me coming back Saturday morning, essentially. Rob McTaggart, Richie and Cantwell or Lascelles and St. Maximin? I'd like the Lascelles St. Maximin, actually. FPL Rubber Ducky, with Jimmy, Aubrey and Vardy in my team, I'm putting armband on Vardy. The gap between games in a game week is also an issue as players can get injured after deadline. Yes, it's very, very true. But you're not going to be able to captain the guy in the league team whose first game of the week every week, are you? So you have to put up with it at some stage. What I would say is just a little bit of advice for game week 32. If you've got Jimenez, I'd have him as your vice captain. That's a very, very sensible ploy to have in game week 32. Man City play Liverpool on the Thursday, 5 days after the deadline. It's basically 5.5 days after the deadline for game week 32. Alistair Coper, hi James. Last decision of my wildcard is Son v KDB. Thoughts? I can get KDB back in 33 if need be. So it could just be for 2 weeks. I don't fancy Son returning against Sheffield United. And I think KDB can return at any time. I genuinely would still go for KDB. Vidic, Shive, Auber, Mount, Cahill for game week 2. So looking to free hit makes sense. Question, no, it doesn't. Sorry, Vidic. Alex Coo, do you okay to bench boost with bench of McCarthy, Cantwell, Lascelles, Taylor? If you've still got your wild card left, Alex, no. If you haven't got your wild card left, then go for it, mate. Go for it. Liam Pereira's asking on formations. This immaterial. Completely dependent. I'm playing 4-3-3 this week. I could be playing 5-2-3 next game week. So I'm not stuck into a philosophy like that. So I think four at the back at the moment is a decent way to go, generally speaking. Pale Blue Dot, Richarlison or Son captain? Son. Whitebeard James, there's negative chat about Pope. You still sticking with him? Yeah, I ain't bothered about the negative chat, mate. Pete Haley, alright. Stephen Kelly, Richarlison, Pogba and Aubameyang, or Mane, Rashford and Saka. What are we thinking, everyone? Can you turn Pogba into Fernandes? Isaac Avery, what are people's thoughts on going without Mane, Salah and De Bruyne? Wildcard team is Dubravka. Don't put your wildcard team. I ain't reading that shit out. No offence, mate. Callum Toms, Jota or Ings on wildcard. Both could have limited minutes. Thoughts, Ings. Just on Danny Ings. The spacing between the games for Southampton is not too bad. So they played Friday. They don't play Arsenal till Thursday. This week it's a 6-day break. Yes, then it's 3 days to Watford. Then there's another nice little break till the Man City game. I think it's a fucking break anyway. There's a break. So I don't think it's too bad. I think the danger game for rotation for Ings might be that Watford fixture. But otherwise I don't think it'd be too bad. And as talisman for them, I'd have to go Danny Ings. Let's not do best mids under 7.4 again. Callum Toms, thanks. Whitebeard, loads of chat, boys, and only 14 likes. It's growing, Whitebeard. That comment's old, mate. Stephen Kelly. No, that's a response to someone. I'll pass that on. William Jones says, Sarr, Barnes, or St. Maximin, mate. I like Sarr. I like Ismaila Sarr. Decent run of fixtures. Leicester, Burnley, Southampton, Chelsea, Norwich, Newcastle, West Ham. And then you probably want an escape plan for game week 37. But I like Ismaila Sarr. Patrick Flanagan, thoughts on Perez this week? Ayoze, is he fit? Not for me. Mark Dorney, is there a problem with Foden? Yeah, the problem with Foden is he's bloody good. Patrick Flanagan, Fernandes or Rashford? Is that a serious question, pal? J-Wag, Aubrey and Barnes to Son and Rashford for a -4, or hold Aubrey till Norwich. If you heard what I said earlier, J-Wag, it's just a personal opinion, and a few people I spoke to at Arsenal, like our correspondent Adam at 35, who thinks the Norwich game is absolutely ripe for him to be rotated, and therefore I would say, get it done, mate. Chris Durans, nothing is crazy. Nothing is crazy. Benny Blanco, hello James. Well done on the bench boost. Thank you. On a free hit this week. Rashford, Patricio plus St. Maximin first sub, or Vardy, Pope plus fodder. I mean, well, the first option looks a lot better there personally, mate. Stephen Kelly would definitely go for Sarr over Barnes, St. Maximin. James Alapra needs help. Go on then, James. Dele Alli a good option? No. Listen, of course Dele can be. I've said I don't think he tends to hit the ground running when he comes back from injuries. He's a game behind everybody else in terms of fitness. I don't actually think it's a certainty that he'll even start tonight, by the way. So, no, not for me. Pete Haley, hey James, would you go for Son and Bolly or Pogba and Doherty? And do you think Foden might be a good choice down the line? I think Foden certainly could be a good choice. Was he 5.1, I think? It won't be that price next season. Definitely not. I prefer the Son and Bolly route on that because of the explosiveness of Son. I see Pogba playing in a quarterback position basically for United based on what I saw Friday night. Remember, he ended up incredibly high because of how deep Tottenham got in that game. So I think generally he's going to play in a double pivot where his midfield partner, be it Fred or McTominay, is going to have to do the pressing and the pushing. It could even be that he starts at the base of a diamond. I don't think that's impossible either. And then you get Martial and Rashford playing essentially as split forwards. So Pogba not on the radar for me, but he was certainly impressive when he came on the other night. Vidit says David De Gea or Schmeichel. Vidit, you got loads of questions, man. Let someone else have a go, pal. The pal's 9. KDB Dilva Son or KDB Bilva Mahrez? KDB Dilva Son. Stephen Kelly, well done for responding to people. Bruce, treble 6, the Devils, 765432 If you've got kids, that might have made you think of number blocks. It just made me think of it. Hey, dude, thoughts on starting Saka in a 3-5-2 so I can go pretty heavy everywhere else? Don't have an issue with that, mate. That's absolutely fine. Mr. Alapran says, I'm on free hit and something is dragging me to Ali, Pogba, Salah, rather than Son, Fernandes, Mane. James, you wanted help. Let me drag you the other way, mate. Go with option B. Niz Godfrey, but Mourinho doesn't do subs. Yeah, I know, but this time he can't make any excuses, can he? If he's got Ali and Lucas back tonight, he's got no excuses. Hello, Callum Bell. Do you think Mahrez will start for the third game in a row? No, I don't, to be honest with you. Need to bench one of the following: Mahrez, Holgate, Lascelles, Justin. Oh my gosh. I don't think you can justify benching Mahrez over any of them, though, personally. I'd definitely play Lascelles out of that. And I think I'd be tempted to leave out Justin, actually. Just because of the discussions we was having on Clash of the Correspondents, which we released earlier, about Brighton could really be a threat to Leicester today on set pieces, actually. I think I'd leave Justin out. Ellis Lawson, Traore or Barnes? I do like Adama. He's great, isn't he? Also have Doherty and Jim for Wolves coverage. So have I. I've got all three, Alice. I would go at Adama. You've got to accept there's going to be quite a few games, and they might even do it again tomorrow, where they just use him in the final half hour. But as you even saw at West Ham, he can still do the damage in that time. Storm Legacy says, good evening, trust somewhere. I'm doing fine, mate. Hope you're well too. Yulo Gil, afternoon, mate. Would you start Mount or Maguire this week? Maguire. Arif Echo, hi James, is it worth to invest in Kane as Aguero's replacement? No, he needs to get fit, mate, and he's not. He needs some time. But he does love a goal against West Ham, it's worth saying. Cole Newton, Salah or Jimenez for captain, mate? You've got Salah, captain him. I would go Salah. Ian McAllister, I've just bought in Traore for Barnes. There you go. Storm Legacy. Ironically, this Chelsea support is supporting Spurs tonight. Triple captain Tuesday on Kane. Strange one, mate. Pete Halley said that's the only thing. Will Pogba start? I'd be amazed if Paul Pogba didn't start for United tomorrow. I guess in theory he could be off the bench again, but I think you're going to get fingers pointed at the manager, which he doesn't need if it then goes badly. If he does that, get him back in the team. Mikey Moles says Calvert-Lewin or Jota. Calvert-Lewin for me. Luke Raman, hey James, aren't you afraid of Traore limited minutes? Just kind of covered that. Niz Godfrey says thank you Red Rose FPL. Kiko plus 0.1 in the bank or Holgate. I don't mind Kiko as a shout, you know, Feminia. Yeah, I really don't mind that as a shout at all. Edwin Graham, what's the reason for big at the back with Laporte and Alonso? The thinking with Laporte is I definitely want something City coverage, and I really weighed up Laporte and Pope versus Ederson and Charlie Taylor. It was kind of final decisions. And I just think there's a little bit more ceiling with Laporte and Pope. And don't get me wrong, there's far higher chance of it going wrong as well. And I think City are going to keep quite a few clean sheets for the remainder of this season. But I'm not bothered about starting him for Chelsea and Liverpool. I want him in there ready for me for that swing. And part of the thing for me is game week 33 was always targeting a wild card for me. So going early now didn't mean that I should suddenly forget about game week 33, and I haven't. So that's part where I've gone with Laporte and Alonso, so I'm ready. Now, if Alonso's suddenly out the Chelsea team, I've got 1.4 million in the bank. I can go to Andy Robertson like that. There's no problem. Or I can come down and move the funds like I'm thinking, say, Ings to Jesus, for example. So I've left my options quite open, and I want Alonso next week. If I'd have been free hitting in 32, which was the original plan, I definitely would have free hitted with Marcus Alonso, I think. I might review that depending on what Alonso's minutes look like against City and Leicester, so because they play Leicester in the Cup at the weekend. If he plays in both, that would make me concerned suddenly about the West Ham game. So the strong benching idea is allow me, because I can't foresee into the future what minutes people are and aren't going to play, is to get me out of, although it's a benching headache, is get me out of a concern of minutes headache, where actually I'm going to be brave enough and potentially leave some people out. Like, I might decide on what I see Southampton Arsenal on Thursday to not play Danny Ings this weekend against Watford, which sounds crazy. But that might be what I decide to do, because I think it's the sort of game where he might get left out, for example. So I'm working on a week-to-week basis. That's why I've gone with a stronger squad rather than cheaper bench guys, because a lot of these guys that get left out, they're still coming on the pitch, by the way. They're getting you 1-pointers. That's what's regularly going to be happening. There's a strong case. FPL Canal wrote an article for us a couple of weeks ago. Strong case with going with a bench that I would say one of them is nothing. You could go like Daniel Amati 4.2 at Leicester, because the chance of you ever needing him are really, really slim. A lot of the guys, look at that Man City last night. If you saw them subs and the way the game was going, would you have thought KDB and Laporte were coming on? My thoughts pre-game was Laporte will either play or won't play. But he won't come on a sub, and that's exactly what happened. So, Alonso, Laporte and that is part of a further thinking philosophy for me. That's why I've gone and done that. Tyrell Maxfield says, captain Bruno or Mane. Bruno is my number one choice for the week, so that will answer that one quite simply. Emil Magnuson, Jesus and Jota or Kane and DCL. I'll tell you what, for this game week, I much prefer Kane and DCL, actually. Kane then allows you an easy move to Jesus if you don't like what you see over the next 2 game weeks as well. So actually, probably Kane DCL on that. Balazzi, bench Alonso or Lascelles? I'd bench Alonso, as ridiculous as that sounds. Lascelles would definitely play as well. So Alonso could give you the double jeopardy of 1, City might batter them. 2, he might be getting you a 1-pointer as well. Lascelles will probably at least be the 2-pointer, wouldn't it? Tom D, Bergwijn, Martial or Richarlison on wildcard. Martial would be 3rd United. Got Bruno Maguire as well, so make it difficult to get in Rashford in future. You can't get 4. If you go that 3, stick with that 3. So know that you're not going Rashford if you go that way. But yeah, it's absolutely fine. Stephen Kelly, you are wrapping people up on the answers there, mate. Fair game to you. Keep atting people, because I can see you're responding to people as well then, mate. Alistair Cooper says, thanks James, last one. Mane or Bruno, done that one. Grapple Spotlight, who are you benching in your 4-4-2, James? I have a similar team and I'm struggling. Laporte, Alonso and Saka, Arsenal. Those are my 3 subs. Laporte first sub. Going for it. I think Chelsea will score. So I'm going for it. And that's a difficult one, because actually with Laporte not playing last night, I'm fairly confident that he plays against Chelsea. But I think Chelsea will score. And that's my thinking. And yeah, Laporte's capable of a 15-pointer. Some of these guys I'm leaving on the bench are capable of absolutely ruining me. And it's going to happen during one of the weeks. And I'm going to have to accept it for what I hope will be longer-term gains. Plus, it makes the end interesting, innit? Hello, Alana Hooker. Hiya, James. Who should be my cap? Fernandes, Stone or Jimmy? Fernandes, my top choice, mate. Edwin Guan, which is the best cheap midfielders company on Davis from Aston Villa? Yeah, I'm not sure how long he stays in that team up front, though. I think it was particularly suitable for him to play against Sheffield United, and the power problems that he gave Egan, particularly in that first half, which you then saw Joe Linton give the same problems on Sunday. So I think Samatta could come back in at any time, but he's an OOP. He's currently playing up front. Don't see goals in Villa, though. See awful fixtures ahead. I think Saka, if you can afford the 4.7, is the best shout, actually. And there's certain games like Norwich in 32. Like, even though I've got all them power subs, if Saka doesn't play against Sheffield United in the Cup, I think I'd almost definitely play him against Norwich. And I'll leave 3 big hitters out in game week 32. My bench could be Trent, the Salah Sweats. Shut up, OBS. That's not you, Rob, to shut up. I'm getting the Salah Sweats. Son, Vardy and Gomez. Overall Salah, Ings and Justin. The old Wi-Fi wants to go on a freeze. Sorry if you had a little freeze there, guys. I'll repeat that. I'm getting the Salah Sweats. Son, Vardy and Gomez, or Salah, Ings and Justin. When you write or in capital letters, mate, it just makes me think of overall rank. Stop getting the sweats anyway at this stage, Rob. Like, whatever you've got in your team now, keep it. John Bailey, what's the best free hit team for this week? Too long of a question. Too long of a question when I've got so many still to get through. But front 3, Jimenez, Vardy, Calvert-Lewin, go Martial, Fernandes, get Mane in there, go Liverpool, United, Wolves defensively. There's roughly the makeup of it for you, mate. Captain's pick, the FPL podcast. Hello, Jeff. Hey, James. Alba or KDB for the next 2? Cheers, mate. I mean, you could ask me KDB and almost anyone for the next 2 games, and I'll say KDB for you, mate. Mustafa Mohammed. Long time listening to the podcast, but first time on the live stream. It's great. Keep it up. Thanks very much, Mustafa. Bilal Qureshi, teams to target now. Bournemouth, Villa and Norwich. Yes, any others? I mean, that's obvious, isn't it? You could make a case for Arsenal, but I'll get slaughtered for saying that. Balazzi already did Alba to DCL for -4. If you were taking -8, Bernardo to Fernandes or McBurney to Rashford. I mean, I don't mind McBurney to Rashford potentially being worth that. Abhishek Dutt, Vardy, Richarlison for captain differential. Don't mind them. Loads of good differential captaincy choices this week. Cyrus Bernard, good luck with the podcast and words. Made sure I voted for you. Thank you very much, Cyrus. Sinead Thomas, Ings and Son or Bergwijn and Vardy? Ings and Son for me, Sinead. Stephen Kelly is responding to someone. Matthew Harding, thoughts on Martinez as goalkeeper to free up funds? Yes, as a backup. Anybody wildcarding should have him as their backup. Starting, do you know what? It's okay. He's cheap playing goalkeeper. Don't expect a lot out of it. Those who give him captain questions on Fernandes, you're definitely late joiners, aren't you? Coolio 2 foot hat-trick from Sun today. Let's go. Positivity. We like it. Good morning, Ben Miller. Was planning on listening to your pod and making my decisions. Then my boss decides to call for an hour. Ha. Tell your boss to fuck off, mate. Bruce is back in. He's responding to Stephen Kelly. Liam H. Which game do you think will be high scoring this week? You already asked that, mate. And I already told you Chelsea Man City. England 23. Remember what happened when you owned Louise? You said you'd never bench premium defenders again. Yes, it's so true. And so, yeah, I can expect a Merrick Laporte to go a bit mental this game week. But you tell me, is Laporte a better choice this game week than Adama Traore? For me, no. I see Traore returning. I see Laporte not. I'm doing this. I'm going to go beyond the fear on this. The fear answer to that is to leave Traore out, and I don't want to go for the fear option on this occasion. Jay Barker, do we think Sane will start any more games this season? Yeah, absolutely. Probably in the FA Cup, mate. Froda says, greetings. Joe Finley Batter, really important question, James. Please help. What did you have for breakfast? I had a bacon sandwich. A bacon and half sandwich, to be very honest with you, Joe, because we only had 6 slices of bread. So you one, and then you fold over to one. Actually, it's 1.5 basically, and that's me for food. And as soon as I finish this, I'm gonna have some food, watch Leicester and Brighton, then I'm gonna open some cans. Come on, you Spurs! Thank you, Frodo, for your comment. Pete Haley, maximum point hit you can take between now and end of the season. Well, I mean, you can make 15 transfers for a point hit if you want, mate. So, yeah. Oh, am I nearly up to date here? Fuck me, that's impressive, isn't it? Liam H, should I start Decore or Cantwell? Decore for me. Ben Miller, your headphones look classmate and can hear you really clearly. Where are they from? I love you, Ben. You're a top dude. Where are they from? Truthfully, from Sudge's office, mate. I don't know where they come from, but they are good. They're comfy as. I used to wear, the Pony earphones. They're not made by Pony, by the way. And my ears were starting to hurt when I started originally editing the podcast in the springtime. And I was like, I've got to get rid of these. My ears were hurting. And Suj went, try these. I was like, oh, that's so much better. Thanks, mate. And he went, yeah, fuck off, take them out. He's a good lad, that Suj, isn't he? Jonathan Nagy says, are you kicking the missus out again tonight? What do you think, mate? Ben said he'd let his ex-boss know that I told him to fuck off, but he's an ex-marine. I should maybe leave it, Ben. No probs, Liam H, that's fine. Mustafa says, Kiko, Lascelles, Barnes and McCarthy for bench boost. You want some Harvey Barnes news for that? You want some Harvey Barnes news? I will try and keep eyes on Twitter, see if anything's knocking about. In fact, bear with me a sec. Let me see if there's anything I can potentially see or have heard from any trusses I see. Nothing coming to my obvious attention. And as I mentioned towards the top of the stream, Rockstar said he wouldn't tweet teams tonight. He said he wouldn't be able to get the information, and that doesn't look like it's going to change. But if someone sees ITK at this stage, give it exclamation marks in the chat. But we want to know your sources as well. And remember, if you decide to trust it at this late stage and it's incorrect, you only have yourselves to blame. There's loads more comments coming in. Let's see if we can get through these before deadline. Bilal, how do you think Spurs will play tonight? James, will Kane play as a central defensive midfielder? No, expecting Harry Kane in goal. Son at left back. I mean, Son actually, in fairness, normally does end up at left back. I think it might be the same front four, you know. I think it might be. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's exactly the same team. With Lamela in the 10 position. I wouldn't be surprised if it's exactly the same team. I don't think it's a certainty that Dele comes straight back in. You would think so. But I don't think that's a certainty. Let's see. So, I guess my instinct would be that Ali probably comes in for Lamela. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same team. Nosbit, hi James. Is Trent a viable captain pick this week? Trent's a viable captain pick most game weeks, but I wouldn't advise to captain him over Mane or Salah if you have Mane or Salah. If you don't and you fancy it, go for it. He's so capable, isn't he? He's a brilliant FPL asset. Tim Shannon, shit, just in from work, running late to show. What's up with Fernandez? What's up with him? He's the bollocks. Oh. See, you spelling Fernandez with Z, someone else did that earlier. It just makes me think of Fernandez at Newcastle. I'm being really honest with that. It's Fernandez with an S on the end. Jack Bullen, Perez or Big Tasty this week? It's got to be Big Tasty, isn't it, Jack? Kafal Duggan, well, James, do you think that Ali is a good pick for the rest of the season? No, not at the moment, mate. I don't. FPL Andy, come to Spurs. Fingers crossed we spend more time in the West Ham after our own. We better. Brian, you were saying hopeful Son will do well tonight. Well, yeah, obviously he's in my team and he's in my team. So yeah, definitely. Frodo, will Son give us owners a good game week? My instinct is yes. Mike Day, Barnes or Sarr? I have to sub one. You need the Harvey Barnes news, don't you? Those were Harvey Barnes. You're in the worst position right now because I think Barnes is the better choice. But we don't know if he's going to start or not, do we? Jonathan Nagy's laughing his head off. Holgate or Lascelles to start, says Johnny Cook. I'd go Lascelles. Tom Hyom answering Ben Miller's question. Lukman Rahman, can you and Suj talk about parenting on a pod one day? Yeah, we might do it in between the seasons, mate. Rob McTaggart, FPL subscribe, says Barnes plays. Okay, Rob. FPL subscribe is generally quite reliable. He was someone, I don't know for a fact that it's the same guy that was about before, but he left Twitter because he took some abuse on basically saying that Van Dijk wanted to leave Liverpool, or he was potentially in talks with Juventus or something. So anyhow, although I don't know what his new bloody Twitter handle is now, I must say, and I don't factually know that it's him either. He said 40 minutes ago, he said subscribe FPL. If he's the real guy, he's been very, very reliable. He says, I'm told Harvey Barnes starts tonight for Leicester. Jamie Vardy also. This is all he knows currently. There's been no update on that, I don't believe. That's all he has. I'd say that's probably trustworthy. So in which case, take the gamble. Harvey Barnes. Notorious no Rockstar on holiday. I think Rockstar did incredible to get that Villa Sheffield United team news last week. It's going to be harder for him, isn't it? That's absolutely obvious. Yeah, no probs, Tim Shannon. Brian Yule, so is there any forfeit planned after the Planet FPL derby for the loser? Yeah, Patreon podcast, 8:30 in the morning being recorded. Muhammad Ali, not the boxer, I presume, says Richarlison captain. Yeah, I don't mind it. Differential captain's good week from Joe Finley Bader says Otamendi to Son captain question in Sky. Would have to do Baldock to Justin Byrne to make it work. Have 10 transfers left. I prefer Soyuncu over Justin, by the way, but I have a feeling, Joe, you might already have him, which could be the influence on that. The problem for Burnley is damn fixtures coming up. Leicester, Man United, Norwich, Liverpool, Man City, and then it's a good finish. But you want to get on it at the finish, really. Muhammad Ali wrote in capital letters, Richarlison captain. Don't hate it. Desmond Ong, DCL for the long term. Yeah, he could well stay in my team, actually. Desmond is in mine, and he might well stay about in there. Joseph Humphrey says, start Barnes or Traore. I think now we know Harvey Barnes is playing, we'll go Harvey Barnes. And who am I captaining for the 25th time? It will be Bruno Fernandes. Tom Hyom, James, who's your Premier League player of the season at this point in time? Probably Jordan Henderson, mate. Thank you, Steve Elite FPL. Mohammed, you can ask the question however many times you like, mate. Stephen Kelly says, good stream. Good luck for the game week, lads. May Arsenal not be the massive disappointment they have been to me lately. Stephen, I'd like to thank you for your contribution and responding to a lot of comments in the stream. Very handy. I got used to seeing your name there a lot. No problem at all. Although I hope Arsenal continue to disappoint, my friend. Bilal says, thanks, James, for answering my questions. Keep up the good work, mate. No problem at all. Imad Carrot, loved your wildcard, James. Very well balanced team. Good luck for the game week. Good luck to you too, Imad. Whitebeard says, thanks for the stream, mate. Have a good one. Muhammad Ali, I love you too. Lamichi says, start Jota or Saiz. Jota. Now is not the time to be asking more questions. If you want to, you can, but you should be at the point now where you've already made your decisions and are locked in with your team. Cyrus Bernard, who will be top goal scorer at the end of the season? If you'd have asked me before last night, I said Aguero. Tough. I wouldn't be surprised if Danny Ings makes a late run. Genuinely. Megazozo82 saying thank you. No problem, mate. Absolute pleasure. Jay Barker, predicted Spurs 11, James. Any chance Kane is benched? No chance Kane is benched. You'll remember it's 9 days to the next Spurs game as well. I think Ali will play instead of Lamella, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same team. Otherwise, I expect it to be the same team. It's not necessarily what I'd pick, but it's what I'm expecting the manager to pick. Cole JB, cheers, James. Good luck tonight, and to you too, Cole. Mustafa Mohammed, thanks, James. Good luck, Froda. Cheers for the stream, James, and good luck to all. Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Give the video a like on your way out. Before, obviously, I go, I will confirm to you those teams that we have and just add any thoughts on anything that I see. So Leicester have Harvey Barnes is not in the Leicester team. Well, that insight didn't go so well for our friend Subscribe, did it? And I did say it's not necessarily him. Iheanacho plays up front with Vardy. Damari Gray plays. No Albrighton in that team. Leicester, unfortunately, with the way they do the team, don't put substitutes available. But Nemanthes Mendy plays in midfield with Ndidi. I think it's Maddison left, Gray right, kind of a 4-4-2 really. Justin plays again at right back. Let's have a look at the Brighton team for what it's worth. Brighton are always interesting because they're well known to obviously change the setup. The young boy Lamptey plays at right back, the guy they got from Chelsea. And one of the things I suggested on Clash of the Correspondents was Stevens playing with Basuma. Is also a start for the Argentinian McAllister. Maupay and Connolly both play together. I think that could be a diamond for Brighton, or a 4-2-2, which is a system they played very, very well against Tottenham in game week 8 earlier in the season. So Trossard drops out, Gross drops out, Proper drops out. Charlotto and Montoya both subs. Lamptey plays at right back. That's a real surprise. McAllister is the one to watch in this game. Keep a close eye out for him. Let us know on Twitter, Slack from the Patreon perspective, etc. If you enjoyed the video, as I said, give it a like on your way out. If it's popular enough, I'll come back and do the same thing 10:30 am Saturday morning. Really good. I quite like that very fast-paced FPL focus. But generally, one word of advice: you should normally have your team well locked in before you get to this point of the day. My job's just to try and give you my opinion and help a little bit where I can. Anyway, enjoy game week 31, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck for the game week. Have a really nice evening. Speak soon. Ciao for now.